All right. Hey, how you doing? I want to take this time to wish each and every one of you a happy new year. I hope that this year changes something, whatever was negative, into a positive for you. I know that we've all had a rough 2020, and I don't think anybody thought we would be in this situation that we are now. I know that I never saw any of the things that happened to me this year coming whatsoever, both the positive and the negative. And I know every year is different, but this is very different than what and I think a lot of you thought was going to be happening out there. So I'm not going to take this time to sort of rehash any of that stuff that we know that's going on there in the world. I do want to just take the time to kind of close this chapter of my life and um, sort of have this as sort of a send-off video for those of you that have followed me throughout my time here. I've spent a lot of time this year doing a lot of soul searching, as well as uh, picking up the pieces and trying to remind myself of the things that I set as goals for me. And I'm pretty content with what I've been able to achieve this year and for the people that I have met along the way. Um, with anything in life, you have to figure out what's worth it and what's not, and whom you wish to have in your life and what you'd like to do. And sometimes we have to make the sacrifices that remove folks that just don't go with the things we're trying to achieve, the paths. And I get it, and I've been that to people, I'm sure. And some you figure out why, and others are just always going to remain a mystery. And I personally don't work that way. I'd rather say my piece and call it a day. But it has been an interesting year in doing that and continuing on the path that I had set for myself this year, especially in the world of voice acting and art. It was unfortunate that I was not able to do any conventions this year whatsoever. Just because, with the whole COVID thing that took everybody by surprise, including myself, and, um, that sucked. But I definitely did a lot of art this year, as well as I sort of, it's all perspective, but, I'd like to say that I'm somewhat of a voice actor in some respects, like I had set out to do. I have a reoccurring role as a narrator on a podcast called Rifted, and I've done a few other pieces here and there. And I've finally had a nice sort of a review and recommendation on my casting call site from a director that I had with a live recording over Discord with the director and the executive producer. That was really fun and something I had never done before, and I learned a lot, and those guys were great. And to me, I don't see like what's so quote hard about doing it, especially if you have an open mind and you can take criticism. I guess I don't understand some of the things that I've heard that they say, the people that turn into divas and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know. But I'll say that that's always been interesting, and I'm just really happy to have met all those people that I continue to meet while doing this voice acting gig. It's been great, and you just never know, because it's like life more than anything else. You hopefully don't want to burn any bridges, but at least acknowledge, like, hey, this is either working or it's not. But don't try to cause any issues, because you never know one day in that field who might be looking for someone that you just happen to fit that build for. So, but that's been a huge positive, and I've been really grateful for those folks giving me the opportunity, and even just coming to me for more work. And That's been great. I also want to thank everyone that has continued to, you know, recommend me for people for Twitch of their work, for their art, their stream and things like that. That's been great. Building sort of a portfolio on there and sort of a word of mouth deal, and the reoccurring customers that come back to enhance or even update their Twitch page and such. So that's been a big blessing. So thank you to everyone that recommends as well as comes by for work. Along with the art, I want to thank everyone that has commissioned me for personal pieces this year as well. Not stuff that's just on Twitch, things like they're fans of and they got into it, and I had a really good time making those pieces and just really adding more to my workload in terms of getting things done this year and trying to apply what I've been learning with markers more so than anything else into my pieces, taking something from digital into the traditional work. And then because of that work, I've been able to finally get myself a scanner, which has been great. So now I'm able to scan in these finished pieces and do some touching up in Photoshop and even get some nice bigger prints going because of the size that I typically work on. It's interesting that I confined myself to that small size. I'll kind of show you the pad that I use. So this is what I use here, this hand lettering piece, and it's 25 sheets, and it's been great. This is all my scrap paper that I use for testing marker purposes and such. So, yeah, it's been great, and putting things together. On top of that, I don't know if you know, but I did release my 2020 art book, and it is it's been a labor of love, and just soul searching in terms of what I put in there, the things that I showcased, and just saying thank you for the opportunity to draw these characters and such, because some of these things I had no idea I wanted to draw, let alone put in certain scenarios to sort of bring to life, and it's been great. So thank you to those that have hired me to do that. I will be sharing some personal pieces tonight. That's why the blue book is there, just to kind of wrap things up. So when the virus and stuff hits, a lot of the places that I like to go kind of closed down. There were no more getting together and whatnot. But there was a bar not too far away that mandatory masks and such. But it was during the summertime, and this was outside, and they had everybody secluded from one another, so to speak. But I went up there on like Friday nights and just would sit down in a corner and would draw people. This is my sketchbook. It's really small. I got it many years ago, and I thought I'd share a couple of those with you today as I kind of wind down the year. And these are all random people. I have no idea, I have nothing, know who they are and whatnot, but yeah, this is by the way, all this stuff is just pure drawing. There's no sketching beforehand. It's just me and my trusty little ink pen that I started utilizing. These Sakura Pigma pens have been just great, and super thankful for being introduced to them and going and knocking these pieces out. And some of my other work that I've done have all been inked with these brush pens. They're great, absolutely love them, and they've worked well for what I've been wanting to do. So this gentleman here, he's got these little headphones. He was just kind of sitting down to my right. A lot of these are just kind of random pictures. This was like the bartender guy. We've got like the little umbrella and a guy sitting underneath here and whatnot. Kind of see it a little bit. Can't move too far forward, unfortunately. I ended up hitting the camera And but yeah, it was mostly, we're kind of working on people posture and different faces and whatnot. So uh, unfortunately, a lot of the folks you see, they'll be sitting down because we are at a bar, but it was a lot of it was just trying to sort of like trial and error, and dealing with whatever it was that I drew was there on and just to kind of live with it and such. This one's going to be a little bit harder to see because this is a little bridge that there's an overlook that I hang around at, and this is the bridge on the other side with cars and lamps and such, and this really nice little, I don't know what it is. It's not a home. It's like a water facility or something that's there. So it started. So this is a little bench with a slab walkway area. It's one of the local colleges that I go sit down and hang out there. I did start. I was drawing like one of these strips of like a pine cone every day, and just kind of forgot about it and just kind of moved on. But this is what it was supposed to be, like a little pine cone thing that I was working on. And then back at the bar here, some more people sitting around, just kind of chilling, relaxing. This guy had a pretty mean smirk. I thought I'd draw him there. And then the back of this guy's head, I really liked how his hair kind of turned out and his posture. He was just kind of leaning here. And unfortunately, I was drawing his buddy who was sitting on the other side of the table. But the problem with these places is that no one ever sits still for too long. So you've got to be super quick. And that's another thing, too. I was testing how fast I could draw this stuff before people got up or, were like, why is this guy drawing me? I just don't understand. And here's a couple characters and whatnot. This guy was pretty jolly. He was kind of chatted with his buddy and whatnot. It's another thing, too, that I was sort of working on as well, was trying to get more caricature, different features, with the oddly shaped head and the bigger noses and such. So this gal here, where I was drawing, she was sitting sort of to my left with her group of friends, and she was crying the majority of the night. And unfortunately, it's kind of one of those where she's not making a lot of noise, but you can't help but overhear the conversation. And she was just very very dolled up is the word. She had this white polka dot thing. Her hair was up with a ponytail on sort of the side and kind of twirled up. It was very nice and unique. And she had just moved here for someone, and ended up finding out that the person just straight up like left or something. I didn't get all the details, but long story short, she moved here from wherever she came from, and the person she moved here to be with no longer wanted to be here. And so she basically had only her two other friends that she met through this guy, and was totally heartbroken. So I had started drawing her prior to me figuring out this story, because I just thought she was very elegant looking. And so it was just very nice, not the typical things you would see at quote unquote a bar during the summer, someone dolled up very nicely. So that was fun. Then a couple other places here. Sorry, I know the light's not going to be all that great. Kind of doesn't show it off all the best, but yeah, this is one of the other bars. They had like a little pinball machine and such. I got called to head over to a friend's house, my buddy Tom, when I was here. They had called, and so I left, so I never got a chance to finish it. But they had like speakers set up and the little exit and pinball and whatnot. And so here's a couple people, other folks that were in there and such. Again, just kind of testing out different features and characteristics, such. Back at the bar, now this is more posture drawing than really anything else. Seeing how the people lean and such. what I have written here is that what I have learned so far, answer, people still aren't wearing masks. So that's why the majority of the people here in this particular section aren't wearing masks. A bit more of an anime style piece there. Some other people and such. A lot of guys with the same sort of hairstyle, smaller faces, and this guy was just kind of standing with his drink, very, very sternly upright and such. So, a couple more. I really like this guy. His look at the bar and such. It was really neat. I can move the light a little bit more, but I'll turn the book up. But yeah, he I just liked his hat and his look and such, and the gal who's sitting next to him, and this gal down below was kind of yelling at her friend, so I thought that'd make for a nice piece. So, and then here's some of my one nature piece, I would say, from when I run during the morning and such. I took my book one of the afternoons and sat down and just kind of sat and drew the river and the little trees and the bushes and such over here. It's a nice little path that you can kind of climb down and hang out at. It's a good time. A lot of people apparently go down there to have picnics, and the college kids go over to the right side where they have a fire pit and they just smoke weed and hang out down there. That's what I learned one evening. I was just leaving from the spot, and it was getting kind of dark, and like, I kid you not, there was like 12 college kids, and they all looked like they were 14. I could probably beat each and every one of them, but they they were like, "Oh man, there's somebody here." And I'm like, no, it's cool. I was just leaving. They're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." They're like, "Oh, okay, great, thanks." And they're going there to sit down and smoke up and drink. So, but at least they were all wearing masks. So, it was all good. Here's Waka from Final Fantasy X. I drew this while watching Tater stream, and I thought it'd make for a nice little piece there. Try to get some energy and whatnot into the throw and the ball and such. So, good times there. And then a little charming fox guy. Still working on my shadows and lighting perspectives with my style as always. So I don't know, I just kind of thought this guy would look kind of neat sitting there with a drink in his hand being like, "Hey, how you doing?" I don't draw anamorphic creatures enough. Anthropomorphic, I don't know. Anyway, I don't draw this stuff a lot, and so it's always been a challenge to me. Especially how, people, how they make them into humans and such. I've always admired those that are able to do it seamlessly. So, but I thought this was just kind of neat, just a nice little look there in the shadows and such. So, and then this little ghoul guy is a little vulture bird that he's hanging around with. This is from Warcraft during the Ice Crown event, the pre-Shadowlands launch. With all of us sitting up there waiting for Bronjamin to spawn so we could get a shot at getting that 32 slot bag or whatever. I was just kind of sitting there drawing my ghoul and such. So I thought it'd be kind of neat to put him with a little birdie, and he's just kind of hanging out there. And then a couple more different pieces, some random monsters. Just these odd looking creatures, and this little guy and such, and a little fairy. I don't do a lot of two eyes on one side of the face type of look like in cartoons and such. So again, just drawing shapes and then filling it in and just kind of seeing what comes up about it. And I think this is the last one in here. I just kind of a demon guy. I was kind of just putzing around with, again, working on different features and wider faces, exaggerated noses, and things like that. So always fun. And these last few ones were done with just a regular marker because I had ran out of the brush pens, because those things are expensive. They're like $8 for a pack of 3, and I know it doesn't sound a lot, but it really is. And then so the reason why, that's one of the reasons why I was like, yeah, I can't be just kind of drawing willy-nilly with them so much. I need to save them for my actual real pieces. So, but that's a sketchbook dive for 2020. And unfortunately, I had stopped kind of going out to those different places only because I found other places to spend my time at to be a lot more productive. And also I had more work coming in. So that was always nice. So, and then I will go ahead and wrap up. And I know we're kind of pushing into almost a half an hour. Well, it's been 20 minutes, but I appreciate you watching this. And I kind of wrap up with a few more pieces. These are some personal pieces of mine that I've done over the years, and a few of them I did this year as well. For someone that I care about deeply, and these were done for my best friend, who unfortunately we're no longer close like that or anything. So, but I do want to share these with you because this person has been the person that I have drawn more than anybody else in this world. And I figured I'd kind of share a few of these with you guys just to kind of show how I always saw this person in terms of, what they've meant to me without actually having to say anything, So I'm a huge believer in actions speak louder than words. So, but yeah, I'll go ahead and kind of showcase these so you can kind of see them. So I did a lot of these little small sketch cards of Crazy and her different pictures that she would have. Always challenging myself to build a small collection of work that consisted of her and, her playfulness and such. So these are different pieces. And I have shown her these and she had no idea about these and whatnot. So it was nice to kind of surprise somebody, despite it being a little, like a mystery. But to me, it's always been kind of fun just drawing someone that you care about and trying to accentuate their features and such. That makes them who they are. And especially folks that think that they are not pretty. And by that, I cover the term all round, personality and such like that. It all goes, it all plays a factor into it. So, but with these, I was trying to sort of capture a range of different emotions and feelings and, looks. And again, challenging myself with the markers. Again, some of these are not the like Uhuru markers. Actually, these are from Walmart, just a small case. This is stuff that I had for a long time, but I was always like, oh yeah, let me just get some markers just in case, you never know. And these were like $6 at Walmart. So, you put them to use and such. But I would say from my marker experiment, this piece right here is my best picture of her, in my opinion, that I've ever done. And it is the cover of my art book that I put out this year. And I think it's just an amazing piece in terms of looks, charm, and getting something onto the paper with as little ink beforehand and such. I think it blends in pretty well. And then I have a few others that you may have seen before. Actually, no, you would not have seen a few of these. You will have seen this one, as that was one of my early ones in the pen and ink style from back in the day. Here's another marker one. That's the thing, a lot of ladies do with their fingers and such. They just lightly put it on their lip to add that sense of sexiness and such. Here's another one again, testing things out, see how they work. Markers, trying to get a level of realism and whatnot. Here's a really fun one that I liked a lot. It was a very playful picture of herself at work. and whatnot. She always did a lot of really nice faces like that, so that was fun to me. Trying out something different with the colors on this one. Um, I've always been a fan of people that really know how to work with their colors and, you know, oranges and yellows and such on the body, and really make it as pretty as they can do. So here's a little bit more of a somber one right there. Just kind of relaxing. Here's a less detailed, but trying to capture a lot of like her aesthetics and such, and more of my style, cartoony-ish type deal. And here's another relatively favorite one, with her glasses and such. It's very Vogue looking, model-esque is what I would say. So, and then I'll just share two more, or excuse me, three more. So here is us as like little cartoon, little characters. So she's always considered herself a panda, and I have always been, well, I'd like to consider myself sort of on the wolf family, because I've been a sort of a lone wolf kind of guy for the majority of my life, just sort of looking for a pact to join, to have to sort of be with. So this is sort of my characterization of her as a panda. So she's got, you know, her little glasses, and she always wears this little blue thing, and then these, you know, jeans and such. So that's sort of the character of her. And then here's my character as sort of a brown wolf. I kind of go back between white and brown, and just brown or whatnot. But, you know, I've got my little cap on there, and my tie and stylish hoodie, and, you know, jeans and such like that. So it's just kind of a fun thing that I've always had with her and such, and showcasing that. And here's another piece right here of both of us, she taking a selfie, and me just giving her a hug and whatnot. So fun times. Thank you for allowing me to share, and I appreciate the memories that come from having these things. So, but yes, I did put out an art book this year. You would have seen that on the Discord, and I want to thank again everyone that purchased a copy. The response is overwhelming, so I greatly appreciate it. And those that haven't gotten it yet, just know that they are in the mail and on their way. A few people have contacted me, and they have gotten theirs, so it is going. It's not me at this point. It is the mail station, but, you know, we all know we've got to have some patience with those guys. So, but those of you who stuck around and continue to watch the rest of the video, I greatly appreciate it. I want to thank you so much for being my friends, and you know, just inspiring me in small ways that you may or may not have any idea, you know, that you did. So thank you from my bottom of my heart. Carrot and I thank you so very much. This is Carrot. He's been my buddy, and he's been here for me the entire year. Well, I wouldn't say the entire year, but since Easter, since I got him at Easter, and he's been my buddy that hangs around, as well as a fish that I recently got, and his name is Gunther. So good times there. But I want to again thank you all so very much for everything you've done for my streaming career, as short-lived as it was, as well as art, and your gracious, humble words throughout time. So, and you know, I'm a person that can take criticism as well. So, if you have any issues that are still lingering with me and need to voice them, please reach out. My Discord is open. I will still have like sort of a way, like the DM. You can still DM me, but with wrapping up this video here, the Discord channel will be no more after the 2nd. So I've decided it is time to take it down and move on. There are other Discords that many people are already hanging out in, and others that their community is much better and much more interactive than mine has ever been. So I encourage you to join a few that people have finally got going over at Mr. Tater's channel and such, and that just seems to be a great place. A lot of positivity over there, and so I invite you to Make sure you check out his channel as well as Chrissy Bells and Algebraic and D20. So, and of course, you can't forget Mr. Pyrus Lex. So, but yeah. As for me, I don't know what's next. I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I'll be. I know I will still be doing art and voice stuff. That's sort of the direction I'm heading, and hoping to continue moving forward. But yes, thank you for everything, and Happy New Year. I wish nothing but the best for you all, and you all deserve to be happy. And there are many of you who have earned it. So, I say one final time, from here to there, be righteous everywhere. The world has enough assholes as it is. Take care.